This is Mile High.
Do I want to tell the story or do I want to show the message?
You've got a lot of work to do between Mile High.
The time has come where we can know
we have a responsibility, an ethical and moral responsibility.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
If you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
it's now time for the show.
Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles. Thank you for joining us from whatever altitude you're at. We're on higher ground where we hope to see you in September. RiseUpToMileHigh.com is where you can get all the info on that. And make sure you hit subscribe, whether you're listening to this on Spotify or on iTunes. We want you to be able to all in on all Mile High podcasts. And that's where also you can hear all the episodes and watch all the episodes we've had. Today, wow, I am so super thrilled to be here with Dr. Devin Vrana. She has been on the Mile High stage a handful of times, and she'll be there this coming year. And she is truly inspired to drive family, community, and wellness and healing to the world, and for the world to be vibrantly alive. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Devin.
My honor and pleasure. I love getting to talk all things chiropractic, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you here. The world has been shaken up a little bit in the last couple of years, and you know that. And so let's dive right into that. How do you think the world needs an adjustment after what's happened in the 2020s of our lives?
It's fascinating, the parallels with chiropractic, and, we're human, right? So first impulse, there was some pain and some discomfort into us as humanity these last few years. But, that's the big idea, and subluxation and these concepts that we have ingrained in us are a true north during this time. And to see that pain has purpose and that a subluxation is intelligent. We've had some subluxations, humanity, and particularly here we are in the United States. And I think that everything we've been through has a divine purpose and a divine timing. And you see it now in waves of Maha movement and Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Casey Means and shifts that I would have said would take decades to play out are now playing out in months, in a few years. And, I'm expecting miracles because this chaos has been kind of the shakeup that puts us in prime position to have much needed conversations for change.
As expected, that's so well said. And here's the thing, here's the thing. A lot of times people think, in general, think healing's going to be smooth, healing's going to be balanced, healing's going to just be this magical experience. And that's not what healing is. And with where there was, so much pain and suffering and challenge that people are not even aware of, what's transpired really is a big adjustment. Which is a force of instability to bring in new growth and awareness.
Yeah. And I think that, again, I was highly reactionary. I didn't love some of the things that were going on. And so there was a rage against the machine thing that was already probably in me, but amplified in 2020 and 21. And yet it was our calling card, and it sewed us all together. And I've met friends and connections, and I've learned so much about myself and healing and chiropractic and the world. Mainly, though, it has connected me to God and to faith, things being challenged. And Tony Robbins, right? He says, you either believe that things are happening to you or for you. And I was in need maybe of a dose of my own medicine with all of this, that can I believe that all of this is happening for us? And it is. And now we get to see it play out. The question becomes, are we ready to step in and step up? Because there is time for massive action.
You just brought me to thinking about something that I hadn't thought about until you said, because you mentioned Tony Robbins. And one of the things that he says is that business is a spiritual game. And he says to succeed, to thrive in business, it's a game of how much can you be in a beautiful state, because things will happen, things will shake up when you're in business, and can you keep yourself in this uplifted to navigate the things that will happen. And that's so important as a chiropractor, because in the best practices things are going to be happening, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
much can you keep that healing vibration in the face of all of that?
Yeah. Yeah. I just went on a long walk and did a workout before jumping on with you. And I was listening to a little clip from Hormozy, and he's like, here's the deal, right? It's an infinite game, this thing called business, this playing out of your legacy and your journey here. And on the good days and in growth, it's messy and it hurts. And on the days when it's hard and there's, challenges and things aren't going your way and the business is going downhill, it's hard and it's painful and it's messy. And then even when you're stuck and you're not quite moving, it's difficult and challenging and messy. And so if pain is inevitable, then you just get acclimated and you don't get, again, so reactionary, because it's part of the process.
Yes.
And when we, the adjusters, are well adjusted, we are more resilient, we handle things a lot better, we make better decisions in business, we're more fun to be around in our personal lives. And so I think the name of the game right now is, how well adjusted are you, chiropractor, and chiropractic teams? Because it's in our communities, we are the ones, right, that are so primed and ready for this conversation. But if we're stuck in the past, it's going to pass us by.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you talk to and connect with a lot of doctors of chiropractic across the whole gamut. What are some of the qualities, characteristics that you see in the doctors that are most impactful in their practices?
Yeah, I think there's people who talk about it and there's people who walk it out. And that's above, down, inside out. So checklist is really pretty simple. Are you connected to your source, or do you talk about innate? Like, do you walk with God every day? Are you really in alignment with your calling, your purpose, your assignment? Or are you practicing someone else's systems, using someone else's scripts, and you really aren't in alignment with that purpose? So above, do you bring it down? Are you drinking good drinks and eating good foods and getting adequate sleep and moving your body? Or are you preaching in your practice about healthy habits, but not really walking it out in your life? And then, I am guilty myself, where I was out of alignment, where I was high service, high vibe in the office, but then I'd go home exhausted, and I wasn't the mom, I wasn't the wife. And so my life was out of balance, and it was almost a facade in the practice. So, you really have to be it, not, sell it. And when you be it, people come from everywhere. You don't have to try to sell your practice, because the people can feel the light and the authenticity of it.
Yeah, yeah, love it. And then what are some of the top things of being it? What are the things that, people have to keep front and center there?
The green books are essential to me. The books, like, I mean, I've got one library you can see behind me, two or three over here on this wall. Like, I'm a reader. Your inner circle, what you allow to be in your field. I was reading Donnie's book, actually. The energy field is everything. And so if you're eating low vibe foods or you're around low vibe people, you will be low vibe, right? And so you've got to really hold a tight circle and make those choices. And to be it is, it's a daily choice, right? Because we are human, and it is so easy to pick up, my kids, we just talked about it because we had birthdays and celebrations and family in town, and all of a sudden, all the foods that we never let in the house, thank you, James Chestnut, don't bring the devil in the house. All of a sudden, we're, and then we start to sniffle and sneeze, and then we're getting, we're not feeling as good in our bodies. And it's like, well, no wonder. It's not hard. We complicate very simple things. And to be it is to truly walk your chiropractic and your aligned truth. And you can't BS yourself, and you just got to make the choice every day.
I agree wholeheartedly, and sometimes we do better at making those choices, and sometimes we do worse. It's slipping and checking and destructive and constructive survival values, right? And sometimes we're on either side of that, and we have to keep righting the ship, right? So it's interesting though. This time, I feel like relative to having the gift of being a chiropractor at this time of humanity is a very spiritual opportunity in terms of that. Look at what's going on around us and how much people need us. I mean, they always needed us, right? And at the same time, there's something that we were made for being there at this time in managed human history, right? So when you walk into your practice, when you talk to practice members, when you talk to other doctors that you want to help out, what are some of the things that you're making sure you give and you share?
This is the temptation, right? To jump on some of the bandwagons, and it's certainly not to take, but one of the reasons I actually love Mile High and coming, and because I always get adjusted while I'm there, and I see Jay Kamerick's face, and I see you, I see Donnie, I hear Zeus, I hear Katina. There's a purity to the principle.
Mhm.
And what if that's enough?
Right.
Because the thing that we aren't, that everything else is right now. And again, like I take some supplements, I get IVs, I do cold baths, I do a lot of this, the biohacking stuff, sure.
Mhm.
But the thing that I am that I don't see and hear in the noise is above, down, inside out. And you said spiritual, and I think it's the time to be bold
Mhm.
in speaking faith, in speaking source, in speaking God, that we are connecting man the physical to man the spiritual, because I don't hear that. We're trading pharmaceuticals for nutraceuticals. We're talking about parasite cleanses and mold, and I get it, and I'm not saying it's bad and that these 3 T's aren't rampant in our world today. But if I trust God bigger than anything and I anchor there, then I am truly superhuman. And if we can bring people to elevate above the noise and transcend all of the chaos, then
Mhm.
we truly set them free. And so
Mhm.
I think that the next generation of chiropractors do need to be bold, do need to speak it in a way that we heard BJ and Dee Dee and Reggie and Sid, and like, and we shake people with something that they're not getting all over Instagram, which is real heart, which is real faith, which is expecting miracles on a grand level.
Right. Right. Oh, and you know what? It's sad that people don't necessarily. A lot of times, the only place they're going to get that is your office. Like
True.
very frequently, that's going to be the last place. I say that to doctors all the time that your words, your hands may be the only opportunity to have that message in their lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Either through your touch or through the things you said. And you have to make sure that you're that vessel with them because that they may not get it anywhere else, right?
And the humility to turn yourself over, that it's not you,
Right,
that,
absolutely.
that it's, and Danny, I mean, that's it's again, like you guys do such a great job of that there. I don't feel a lot of ego in the room in your chiropractic space. And you can walk in some, and that's because there's chiropractors who do it, and they do the healing, and it's like, no, 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 no. Like there's your subluxation. Like when you set a space with intentional music, with intentional, you know, the way that you decorate, and it's authentic, and your goal is to, find the subluxation, make the adjustment, speak hope and healing and love and faith, and just be kind. That's how insane our world is. that
Right.
are a brand of kindness and truth is so revolutionary, right?
Right.
Like what
Exactly.
bizarre times. And I'm grateful. That's what he stitched me together to be here for,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Well, and here's the thing. It's interesting. My friend Michael Viscarelli, one time he said on the Mile High stage, he said, "Look, my USP is I actually deliver chiropractic because there's a lot of places where they're not going to get it, which is sad, which is unfortunate. And if my Mile High can be a conduit for more people having their practices do that, then we were
Well,
successful."
and not to get down on the ones because we all get lost, right?
Right.
Like
Oh yeah,
we
absolutely.
all stray off. We're all busy. I've got 5 kids. I've been hurt. I'm navigating my own challenges. Like we're human delivering a spiritual product and service in the world today, and it's not always easy, and it's the business and the things that a lot of chiropractors aren't inherently good at. So you get in the rooms and you get your soul adjusted, and you come back to center, because at one point I didn't know what a green book was, and at one point I didn't have principled chiropractors speaking life into me, and at one time the ego got a hold of me, and at one time I was down after death in a family or sickness or pain. And we all need each other. We all need adjusted.
And so, and I know that you might be we might be wrapping up time here. If you were to recommend one thing or maybe two or three things to chiropractors today to stay focused, what would be those top things you tell them?
Stop. I'm a big fan of the pause. And I think I think everybody's looking for what they need to do, when in
Mhm.
reality, it's what you need to stop doing.
Mhm.
And so, ideally at the start of your day, but as many times as you can, just be still and hear the thing again. Um, check your shit. Like, excuse me, but like, I mean, we all know. Like, if we're eating crappy foods or drinking too much on the weekend or not working, we all know what our primary subluxation is. So pick one. Just pick one thing to actually be a healthier version of yourself, and your
Mhm.
practice is going to grow. And
Mhm.
then lastly, like, let's get humble again. I love over half our practice is babies and kids. And I love hanging out with babies and kids because everything is magical. I watch my daughter chase a butterfly or play with a roly-poly, and everything is magical. And I don't know what happens to us, and we get so jaded. But I think the last thing that I would invite as many chiropractors as possible is just to have fun again, loosen up, get youthful and humble, and empty your cup so you could fill it back up with something new this year. That's probably more than I was supposed to give, but that's what innate, I guess, called me to speak.
Isn't it amazing that we get to do this?
No. I mean, really, really, that's it, Danny. If it doesn't make you go, like you guys, you all just saw him, and he is really like this. If you haven't met Danny, like, you are a big kid. And Mile High always falls in a time when I'm gonna miss a football game for my kids, and that's tough because I know they're numbered. But when you ask, I always say yes, because chiropractic has changed my life and it's served my life, and it's afforded me and my family. So I tell my kids, I'm not missing your game to go just do something. I'm going because there's a fountain of youth in Mile High. There's a responsibility to serve in Mile High, and I'm really not blowing smoke. Like, I mean it. You guys do such an epic job. So anything I can do to support you guys really is an honor, because that tone that you exude is exactly what chiropractic needs.
Oh, thank you for saying that. And I appreciate you saying that. Rochelle and I put a lot of heart and purpose on it because, like you, we're on that mission. And it's so amazing that we just have the gift of being able to do chiropractic. I got up this morning. You think it's like Christmas that you get to go and give this to people, It's like, truly. And so, and we want more people to feel that way when they walk into our office to be able to give that gift. So, well, Dr. Devin, I really am so grateful that, I hope you don't, I'm really grateful you get to come out to Mile High. I'm sorry. I'm grateful your kids decide to say that's okay, Mom. I know you're on a mission here.
I'm gonna bring a few with me this year.
Okay, there you go.
I'm gonna divide the twins. He's gonna keep the twins here, and I'm gonna bring a couple twins out.
Yep, I know what it's like, but we look forward to seeing you on higher ground. Thank you for being on mission to change spines, lives, and minds with chiropractic, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Expect miracles, friends.
Yes, risingtomilehigh.com. Look forward to seeing everyone there.
Amen.